they entered the cave again. With their newfound source of light, they could see much further into the tunnel. It seemed to head in a rather straight line into the heart of the mountain. With excited faces, they journeyed down the tunnel. They found that it did not branch or detour, increasing their boldness in venturing deeper down a cave they had only just discovered. Jonathan turned around and could still see the opening of the cave in the distance, but it was now quite small. The tunnel turned slightly, and the crack of light disappeared out of sight. The path continued another 20 paces when they came to a set of stairs. Halfway down, they both stopped and stared at each other, coming to the same conclusion at the same time. Stairs. Who had built them, and for what purpose? Where do they lead to? Both excitement and nervousness rose in their hearts. This was indeed a great adventure. "What shall we do?" asked Timo, looking to his older brother for guidance. There was a pause. Jonathan was lost in thought. "Not sure," he answered after a while. "Let's go a little further, then turn back." They walked down the remaining stairs and came to a fork in the tunnel. "This is awesome," said Jonathan, unable to control his excitement. "Who do you think made these?" "No idea," said Timo. "But I don't really want to go much further. Not if there's more than one road. We'll get lost, and the torch won't burn forever." They decided to turn back and return to the cave the next day with more torches. But this is where their adventure took a turn. For once they had climbed the stair, rounded the bend, and had the entrance in sight, the light from the crack was blocked by a large figure, and a voice was heard speaking before the entrance of the cave. "You reckon they went down there? Those thieves," growled the voice. "Must have," said a higher and harsher voice not in view. Jonathan and Timo quickly laid on the cave floor, and without thinking, Timo smothered his torch. They were now lying in darkness. The voices continued. "I want my bow back. I'll be needing it soon," said the voice. Timo and Jonathan's hearts sank. "It took me ages to make. Not every day you come across a dark elm. I swear I'll make them pay if I get my hands on them." "They can't hide in there forever," snarled the second voice. "I ain't waiting." The voice paused, and, as if spoken through an evil grin, it spoke. "Send a dog in. Flush 'em out." The other voice laughed and gave a horrible call. Within seconds, barking could be heard at the cave entrance, and the shape of a very large dog could be seen against the light of the crack. "In you go, boy," said the dark figure. "Get me those thieves." Jonathan and Timo had heard enough. They sprang up, and with their hands brushing against the walls, they felt their way deeper into the tunnel. They could hear the dog following behind. Luckily, it was also finding it difficult in the dark, but its smell was keen. "The stairs will be coming up soon," whispered Timo. Just then, he stepped forward and found that the ground was not there. They had found the stairs. He and Jonathan both fell down the steps, making an awfully loud noise. This seemed to spur the dog on. They stood up and followed the path, nursing a few bruised limbs. They then came to the fork in the tunnel, and they noticed that a dim light issued from the left-hand path. They had not noticed the light when their torch had been so bright. Now that their eyes had adjusted to the darkness, there was indeed a faint glow. "Which way?" asked Timo, hearing the dog coming ever closer. "Follow the light, I guess," said Jonathan nervously. He quickly took the bow and quiver off his back and threw them down the right-hand and darker tunnel, hoping the dog would follow the smell of the bow and not of theirs. They turned left and were able to move at a faster pace in the dim light. They hurried along, bending and meandering where the path led them. After a while, they paused and listened for signs they had been followed. It was silent. "Brilliant work with that bow," whispered Timo, patting his brother on the back. "Shh! We're not out of the woods yet, or the cave, grinned Jonathan nervously. They waited. After a long while, they felt it was safe to talk. What were those things? Asked Timo. Do you think they were trolls? I don't know, said Jonathan. Uncle always said trolls were just stories to keep children out of trouble. That thing did look pretty big, and it didn't sound like a person. What do we do now? Asked Timo, looking nervously at his older brother. We can't go back. Not for now, at least. Jonathan peered behind him into the darkness. Whoever or whatever they are, they might still be out there, waiting for us to come out. And we can't just stay here. Mother will be starting to wonder where we are. She said to be back by dusk. They decided moving forward was their only option, to follow the light and see where it led them. As they walked, they noticed two things. Firstly, the light was growing stronger. Whether their eyes were adjusting better to the dim, or they were getting closer to its source, they were unsure. Secondly, they were no longer walking in silence. From the direction of the light, there was a faint hum. They crept forward. The hum grew louder, as if many voices were speaking and many feet were walking. There seemed to be quite a commotion. It did not sound threatening, rather as though a great hurry was taking place. They edged further. The light grew. Presently they could go no further, for their path was blocked by a large door. Hanging on the wall were two large bronze torches, sending brilliant light into the tunnel behind them. The door was cracked open, and peering through the gap, Jonathan and Timo witnessed the source of the humming.